I couldn't help at one point in my discussions privately with General Secretary Gorbachev, when you stop to think that we're all God's children wherever we may live in the world, I couldn't help but say to him, just think how easy his task and mine might be in these meetings that we held if suddenly there was a threat to this world from some other species, from another planet, outside in the universe. We'd forget all the little local differences that we have between our countries, and we would find out once and for all that we really are all human beings here on this earth together. Well, I don't suppose we can wait for some alien race to come down and threaten us, but I think that between us we can bring about that realization. Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world. But I've often wondered, what if all of us in the world discovered that we were threatened by a power from outer space, from another planet? Wouldn't we all of a sudden find that we didn't have any differences between us at all? We were all human beings, citizens of the world, and wouldn't we come together to fight that particular threat?
In 1962, the Cold War had America on edge. The Bay of Pigs had failed the year before. The Cuban Missile Crisis was looming just months ahead, and Washington was desperate to remove Fidel Castro from power. In that climate of fear and paranoia, America's top military leadership quietly drafted Operation Northwoods. The idea was simple: create a crisis so catastrophic, so undeniable, that the American public would demand war with Cuba. The blueprint spelled it out in detail. Stage terrorist attacks on U.S. soil, hijack civilian planes and blame them on Havana, sink refugee boats fleeing the island, even fake the deaths of American citizens, all designed to shock the nation into supporting an invasion. Operation Northwoods was formally presented and approved by the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the very highest level of the Pentagon. The men entrusted with safeguarding the United States had given their endorsement to a campaign of deception against their own people. Only one man stood in the way: the President of the United States. When John F. Kennedy was shown the proposal, he rejected it outright. Without his authorization, Northwoods was shelved, its pages locked away in secrecy. For decades, the public never knew how close the U.S. government had come to fabricating a war through false flag attacks. The next year, on November 22nd, 1963, Kennedy was assassinated in Dallas, Texas. The president who stopped the Pentagon's most audacious false flag plan was suddenly gone. Coincidence or connection? It wasn't until the 1990s, when once classified files were declassified, that Operation Northwoods finally came to light.
Operation Northwoods teaches us just one thing: the system of power is always willing to manufacture consent through fear and sacrifice lives in the process.
Born in 1945 in Montreal, Quebec, Serge Monast spent his life navigating the borders between poetry, journalism, and philosophical inquiry. Though public records don't reveal much about his family, his roots in Quebec's francophone literary scene are well established, including a body of poetic and philosophical work in the late 70s and early 80s. Through the late 80s, Monast began to turn his pen toward investigative journalism and political analysis. In 1992, he self-published Il est minuit moins 15 secondes à Ottawa, described in publisher listings as a dossier digging into Canada's impossible duality and the threat of civil unrest. He positioned himself as an independent investigator, In the early 90s, Monast became a fixture on Quebec's fringe media circuit, particularly through appearances on Esoterisme Experimental, an esoteric TV show hosted by ufologist Richard Glenn. Viewers would remember him as an intense speaker warning of looming global threats. In 1994, Serge Monast published his most controversial work yet, Project Bluebeam, a term he coined to describe what he claimed was a real plan by NASA and the United Nations to dismantle existing religions, governments, and national identities and replace them with a new world order unified under a synthetic faith. They would do this by staging a false alien invasion, by projecting images into the sky with advanced holographic technology. He claimed he obtained the concept from anonymous political insiders, Secret Service defectors, and unidentified classified documents, although he never disclosed names or provided concrete sources. He presented the theory in multiple papers and recorded lectures that circulated through his International Free Press Agency. According to Monast, Bluebeam was devised by NASA and the United Nations with the expressed purpose of dismantling religion and sovereignty and replacing them with a single New Age faith centered around a faux messiah. This would be achieved through 4 meticulously orchestrated phases. Step 1. Induce artificial earthquakes at key religious sites and falsify new archaeological finds and evidence that would undermine traditional religions. Step 2. Stage an alien invasion or simulated rapture, using advanced technology to instill mass panic and drive humanity toward a pre-designed unified authority. Step 3. Execute mass telepathic messaging via extremely low-frequency waves, making individuals believe the divine is speaking directly to them in their own language.
You are all my children.
And the final stage, launch a global holographic sky show. Images of different religious figures projected in the heavens, Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, ultimately revealing a singular Antichrist figure. Monast insisted he wasn't speculating. He said he had studied the documents. After publishing the book, he publicly warned about this alleged plan through presentations and essays. And in 1995, he published a companion volume, Les Protocoles de Toronto, outlining a Masonic connection to the conspiracy orchestrating global domination. He told of a secret consortium called 666, meeting every 18 years, plotting the New World Order via control of global elites and individual minds. He certainly didn't frame Project Bluebeam as entertainment. To him, it was an urgent reality. In 1994, Monast published Le Gouvernement Mondial de l'Antéchrist, where he suggested a hidden Illuminati cabal was coordinating world events. He pitched that the United Nations and secret societies were weaponizing mind control to dismantle national sovereignty. That same year, he released the United Nations concentration camps program in America, a theory alleging that the U.S. was setting up internment camps as part of a martial law plan orchestrated from above. Also in 1994, he tackled medical fears in vaccins, médecine militaire expérimentale, cristaux liquide. There, Monast claimed governments were using vaccines combined with liquid crystal technology to subtly manipulate human minds. By September 1996, Serge Monast's situation had taken a distressing turn. That month, his 2 children were removed from his care by Canadian authorities and declared wards of the state, a move Monast publicly attributed to repression for his investigative claims. In early December 1996, Monast was arrested, though precise details like the exact date of arrest or specific charges were never made public. All we know, based on corroborated reports, is that he spent 1 night in police custody. The arrest's purpose remains vague, possibly tied to his claims of distributing prohibited information. The next day, back at his home in Sherbrooke, Monast died of an apparent heart attack. He was 51 years old. Some of his followers insist to this day that his death was beyond suspicious, possibly connected to his exposure of deep state secrets. He warned of a time when the skies themselves would be weaponized. And in the decades since his passing, the news has been filled with developments that make his claims harder to dismiss. Governments are speaking more openly about UFOs, or in the rebranded language, UAPs. The Pentagon has released declassified footage of strange craft outmaneuvering American fighter jets. Congressional hearings now treat the subject as serious national security business. What was once dismissed as fringe conspiracy has moved into the mainstream. If Project Bluebeam was truly a plan to stage a false alien arrival through satellites, holograms, and psychological manipulation, then the groundwork may already be in place. The unexplained lights in the sky, a string of interstellar anomalies, official admissions that we don't know what these are. All of it subtly training us to accept the possibility of a cosmic encounter.
Was Serge Monast able to document the early outlines of a plan that is only now taking shape? So the question lingers, are we witnessing random events or the steps of a script written decades ago?
At the end of all this, we arrive at the one truth that cannot be denied. We do not know. We don't know what these objects in our skies really are. We don't know why interstellar visitors suddenly appear with such frequency. We don't know whether Project Bluebeam was an elaborate hoax, a paranoid fantasy, or a glimpse into an operation that's still unfolding.
What we do know is this: our history has been hidden from us. Our leaders and institutions lie, and they always have. So when people say everything is a hoax or a misdirection, we understand, because this isn't about believing everything or rejecting everything. It's about asking the questions that cut through the noise. If we don't ask them, no one will. Thank you for joining us here on the Anunnaki Connection. Good night.